where we are going to use law of cosine and law of sines as we have discussed in the last one. So here we have a problem. A motor boat is racing towards north at 25 km per hour, and the water current that in that region is 10 km per hour in the direction of 60 degrees east of south. So let's take reference directions. Let's say this is north and this way south, east and west. So based on question, this way we can represent the velocity of the boat, and if this is north, this direction should be south. So water current is making 60-degree angle with south and it is tilted towards east. So this is the velocity vector for water current and this angle is 60-degree. Now we have to find out resultant velocity. So we will find magnitude as well as direction. So here we have, let's say this is resultant velocity. We can use law of cosine to find out the resultant velocity, which is nothing but Vr. Let's say this is Vr. This will be a square root of Vv square plus Vc square plus 2 Vb, Vc and cos theta. Theta is the angle between these two vectors. So if this is 60-degree, this angle should be 120-degree. So from here we can use these magnitudes 25 for Vb and 10 for Vc, and then we can calculate the resultant velocity. Now about direction, we can use law of sines to find out the direction. So let me redraw this diagram so that it will be more clear. Okay, here we have velocity of the water current, here we have velocity of the boat, and here we have the resultant velocity. So this angle theta is 120-degree, and now let's say this will be 60-degree, and let's say this angle is alpha and this angle is beta. That is the resultant velocity is making an angle beta with the water current, the velocity of water current, and the same resultant velocity is making an angle alpha with the velocity of boat. So how can we find out this alpha and beta? Let's check. As we have done this thing, r sine theta, let me write it in the final form. So we have this thing, we have already done. Okay, so we have this thing which we already discussed in the previous video. So here resultant velocity, if we say this is r and a, let's say the velocity of the boat is a, vector a here, and this velocity of water current is in place of vector b here, then we can relate this formula here also. So what is happening? This r, which will be the magnitude of the resultant velocity, divided by sine 120-degree equals to, we can take any of these two vectors. So let's take this water current. So this will be magnitude of the velocity of water current divided by sine alpha. And from here, we can find out sine alpha because we have magnitude of this thing, which is 10 units, maybe in kilometer per hour, let's say, is in kilometer per hour. And we can calculate this resultant velocity by law of cosine, and then we can calculate this sine alpha, and from sine alpha, we can calculate what is alpha. So this way, we can calculate angle between this angle between the water current and the resultant velocity. So in the same way, if we are taking instead of this term, if we are taking Vb divided by sine beta, then we can calculate sine beta also.